We know that, the emerging and developing Asian countries are expected to grow at the fastest pace, largely driven by India and China. So that's a positive. In fact, India is expected to grow at the highest rate. Now, the demand is fueled by a renewed interest in home ownership, coupled with the people spending more time at home amidst the hybrid work scenario. And also, viewing real estate or property market as a lucrative investment avenue.
The Greater Noida Industrial Development Authority, or GNIDA, has launched a one-time settlement or OTS scheme for around 2,200 allottees of its previous apartment schemes who have defaulted on payments. Namaskar, Salaam, Akal, Vanakkam. Welcome to Keeping It Real by Housing.com, India's premier real estate podcast. We are the longest running and top rated show in the real estate industry. Join us for the latest updates, diverse perspectives, expert explainers, and deep dives into industry trends. Whether you are a pro or a beginner, we are here to keep you informed and entertained in the world of Indian real estate. This is Keeping It Real by Housing.com, where we keep it real always. Greater Noida Authority launches settlement scheme for 2,200 defaulter flat allottees. And prospective homebuyers are looking at tax SOPs from the government and flexible payment plan along with freebies from developers while making purchase decisions, according to a survey by the country's leading PropTech player Housing.com and real estate industry body NAREDCO. A survey by Housing.com and NAREDCO has said. We spoke to Ankita Sood, head of research at Housing.com, PropTiger.com and Makan.com to share her insights. An explainer, who is an heir and what is inheritance? Details of all these and much more in this episode. Stay tuned. The Greater Noida Industrial Development Authority, or GNIDA, has launched a one-time settlement or OTS scheme for around 2,200 allottees of its previous apartment schemes who have defaulted on payments. According to reports, the authority will waive the penal interest on the defaulted amount of the cost of the flat and also additional compensation charges. It will also grant a partial waiver of 20 to 80% of the penal interest on the late fee imposed for the delay in executing registry of the apartment. The order issued by the authority on the 6th of September said only such apartment owners who bought the flats from the authority in its flat schemes but could not pay the amount would be eligible for the OTS scheme. It will not be applicable on builder dues. The scheme opened on the 1st of September and will continue till the 31st of December this year. Through the OTS scheme, the authority is expected to recover around 468 crore rupees dues. Reports said that the authority had to pay the 64.7% additional land compensation to farmers from whom it had acquired the land. This led to an increase in the cost of flats, which was recovered from buyers. Under the scheme, the penal interest on the additional compensation charges will be waived. With the rise in housing prices and home loan rate the past year, prospective homebuyers are looking at tax SOPs from the government and flexible payment plan along with freebies from developers while making buying decisions, according to a survey by the country's leading PropTech player Housing.com and real estate industry body NAREDCO. Ready-to-move-in residential properties continue to be in more demand compared to under-construction properties. According to the survey report, Residential Realty Consumer Sentiment Outlook H2 2023 Trends and Insights, more than 1,000 potential homebuyers were part of the online survey. This survey was conducted between January and June 2023. As per the findings of the survey, 48% of respondents prefer to invest in real estate, which is the highest among asset classes such as stocks, gold, and fixed deposit. The data shows that 18% of respondents prefer to invest in the stock market, 19% in fixed deposits, and 15% in gold. Tax SOPs such as stamp duty and GST waivers, followed by flexible payment plans, were ranked as the top driving factors for buying a home in the next 6 months, the report stated. We spoke to Ankita Sood, Head of Research at Housing.com, PropTiger.com and Makaan.com to share her insights. Listen in. Hello and a warm welcome, Ankita. Delighted to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me once again, Sujit.
Ankita, amidst the global uncertainties, how do you see the consumer sentiments shaping for the coming 6 months? Can you elaborate on the economic and income outlook of home buyers, Ankita?
Sure. So, of course, like we know, the pace of recovery is slow and varied across the countries. We know that, the emerging and developing Asian countries are expected to grow at the fastest pace, largely driven by India and China. So that's a positive. In fact, India is expected to grow at the highest rate of 1% amongst the major economies. Now, this growth is largely driven by strong domestic demand, despite the weak external environment. Now, this strong domestic demand, and the confidence is also translating into the property market, or it's cascading into the property market, where we witnessed a double-digit growth both in terms of demand and supply during the first half of 2023. Now, the demand is fueled by a renewed interest in home ownership, coupled with the people spending more time at home amidst the hybrid work scenario. And also, viewing real estate or property market as a lucrative investment avenue, which prior to the pandemic had somewhat weighted down to, due to the legacy issues. Now, looking ahead, Surjit, we anticipate this positivity to continue in the coming 6 months, which is also evident from the findings of our 8th edition of the Consumer Sentiment Survey that we jointly conduct with NAREDCO. Now, this is a very interesting survey. We do it biannually, wherein we track the sentiments of the high-intent potential home buyers. What is it that they are looking at? What is their income and economic outlook, which is very important? And what is the configuration, or, what are the amenities, facilities, or what is the sentiment of the home buyer, which is very important to gauge the upcoming 6 months as well. Now, according to this survey that we conducted in the January to June period, the first half, a significant 44% of the potential home buyers, Surjit, expressed their confidence that the economy will improve in the coming 6 months. And a substantial 62% of these high intent property buyers on our platform are very confident regarding their income, for the upcoming 6 months. Now, both these statistics are very important because property is a high value purchase. And only if you are confident regarding your, future earnings and the overall economic scenario, you will not pull back on your purse strings, and you will be able to invest in a high value purchase like property market. Now, the confidence in the sector is also evident from the fact that tends to be a preferred investment choice over the other asset classes such as gold, stocks, markets, and fixed deposit. Now, these are the findings that have come about, from the survey. Now, in this essence, the property market reflects clear indicators, of pent-up demand. For the coming 6 months, home buyers who are actively seeking properties within their budget and location will, if given the right product on their purchase. So I would say that the overall sentiment of the potential high is cautiously optimistic, for the upcoming 6 months.
Ankita, when it comes to property preferences, it seems that gated communities are in high demand among home buyers. Can you provide more insight into why these types of properties are becoming increasingly popular in India, Ankita?
Sure. Now, this is a very interesting insight, and of course, we've seen a good uptick in the interest that the home buyer is exhibiting towards the gated communities vis-a-vis independent floors. Now, our survey also suggested that 64%, which is significantly high, of the potential home buyers are seeking properties within gated communities. And why is that so? Especially post the pandemic, the whole concept of being taken care of. Now, there are a lot of positives we know that are provided by the gated communities or a community living. Now, all of that was very highly sought after, especially during the pandemic, where the whole logistic chain for everything was fixed, whereas people probably who were living in independent floors found it very difficult to get their supply chain in place. Now, this is one of the major factors of people looking out for a gated community. Safety, security being taken care of. Another aspect is, of course, that gated communities provide for, a variety of amenities, facilities, be it the clubhouse or, pools or extracurricular activities, greener areas. Now, all of these have become very important for the, home buyer who is predominantly Surjit an end user. Now, like we have always talked before as well, habitability is more important. So, safety, security, and amenities. So, hence, more shift towards the gated communities is being seen, especially post the pandemic, because they've been there since, quite some time now. Affordability obviously comes into being. I mean, right now, with the current scenario, buying land, getting a full house constructed, involves a lot of capital. However, still it will not give you the amenities and facilities that come with the gated communities, community living. So yes, people are looking forward to being taken care of, vis-a-vis staying in isolation.
Ankita, it's intriguing that despite the rising demand in the real estate market, a significant majority of homebuyers still struggle to find the right property that fits their criteria. Can you shed more light on this, Ankita?
Yes. So of course, we right now, we are seeing that a lot of buyers have actually, been sitting out of the market because the right product in the right pricing in the right location is like an ideal situation, and not many projects are meeting those criterions. Now, when we asked our potential home buyers that what is it that is, pulling them back, so a lot of them, highlighted that they are looking for ready to move in properties, and a considerable 52% of the respondents, in our survey expressed that they are not able to find the right property and the amenities that, they are looking at. Now, if I delve deeper into this, like I said, that most of the home buyers today are looking at ready to move in properties. This is not only an end user, but even an investor is looking, predominantly for a ready to move in property. Most 58% of these high intent home buyers who are looking for homes to close in the upcoming 6 months are looking for, project which is complete and they can just absolutely move in. However, the irony lies in the fact that as per our data, only 20% of the current unsold units fall in the ready to move in category. Now, this ready to move in, either, this has created a lot of supply demand gap, and subsequently has also added premium to the pricing of the right ready to move in property. And this has definitely pushed the home buyers to the fence and made the property out of budget for many potential home buyers. Now, while ready to move in homes are also available at, within the budget, as is highlighted by our potential buyers, these might not be at the right location. Often, these units we saw, which were launched way back, there are problems of aging properties. They grapple with infrastructure issues, connectivity challenges, limited, social and physical infrastructure. So, even though there might be certain options, these will not fit into the criterions or are not fitting into the criterions of the home buyer. And also, of course, we saw that during or post COVID, people were moving towards the peripheral areas because of the hybrid work culture. But of course, offices have opened, and even if some are working to stay closer to the city center, that's what we have, seen in the market. People want to stay closer and within the surroundings of the city center. They do not mind commuting, twice or thrice a week, but they want to stay within the city center with all the social, physical, and health infrastructure within close proximity. So, not being able to find the right kind of project in the ready to move in category at the right pricing and location has actually put many home buyers on the fence. So, even though there is a lot of pent up demand in the market, which significantly came up post the pandemic, uh, a lot of it can be captured if the right product, is there from the supply side. So right now, of course, that demand supply gap is definitely very evident.
Thank you, Ankita. Thank you for sharing your insights and dropping by to have this conversation.
Thank you, Surjit. It's always a pleasure to share these insights. Thank you.
Now, who is an heir and what is inheritance? Explainer from Housing.com now elaborated. Let's examine the property rights of daughters-in-law, abandoned first wife, second wife, converts, adopted children, widows, mothers, etc. under the Hindu Succession Act. Laws of inheritance are highly complex. They require clear understanding on part of the beneficiaries before they stake their claim over a property that they assume belongs to them legally. This guide answers some of those complex questions surrounding property inheritance in India. In the presence of so many laws and several contradictory judgments in India, it becomes highly complicated to understand what an ancestral property actually is and what the rights of its legal heirs are. Let's try to simplify the laws surrounding property inheritance in India by answering some oft-repeated questions about ancestral property. We also quote the latest court judgments to keep you updated about the changing course of the law. Who is an heir? The Indian law, like most laws worldwide, recognizes the concept of an heir. Heirs include such people who are legally entitled to inherit property from their ancestors. An ancestral property is divided among the legal heirs of the owner under various laws of India. This article will give you an understanding of inheritance, the concept of heir, and property rights in India. Who are legal heirs of an ancestral property? An heir is an individual who is legally empowered to inherit the estate of his ancestors who died without leaving a will, known as intestate. After the death of such a property owner, matters relating to property inheritance and other claims will need to be taken up by their legal heirs. Now, the concept of an heir differs from one religion to another. This is also why their rights in the deceased person's property might also differ according to the religion they come from. For example, the Hindu Succession Act or HSA applies to Hindus, Buddhists, Jains and Sikhs, as well as those who have converted to any of these religions or are born out of wedlock. The HSA does not apply to Indian Muslims and Christians who have their own respective personal laws to determine how property would be inherited by their legal heirs. We examine here the property rights of those on whom the Hindu Succession Act is applicable. Can ancestral property be gifted? An ancestral property can be gifted if the following three conditions are met. 1. It is a legal necessity. 2. It is for the benefit of the family estate. 3. It is done with the consent of all the co-partners of the family. The Supreme Court said recently that the karta, that is the owner, is free to gift a property for pious purposes of charity and religious acts. However, the act of charity does not cover gifting this property out of love, the apex court ruled. Can daughters claim father's property after marriage? The HSA was amended in 2005 and it gave equal rights to the daughter in property ownership and inheritance. Prior to the Hindu Succession Amendment Act of 2005, sons used to enjoy rights over the deceased father's property, whereas a daughter could do so only till she stayed unmarried. Now, married and unmarried daughters have the same rights on their father's property as their brothers. They are also entitled to equal duties and liabilities as their brothers. The 2005 ruling further says that a daughter has the same rights provided both father and daughter were alive as of the 9th of September 2005. In 2018, the Supreme Court stated that a daughter could inherit her deceased father's property no matter whether the father was alive on this date or not. Thereon, women have also been accepted as co-partners. They can demand a share in the father's property. In 2022, the Supreme Court ruled that daughters had the right to inherit their parents' self-acquired property and any other property of which they are absolute owners. The highest court clarified that this rule would apply even in cases where the parents of a daughter died intestate before the codification of the Hindu Succession Act in 1956. What is the share which married daughters can claim in their father's property? According to the Supreme Court, a daughter gets an equal right along with her brothers to inherit their father's ancestral property. However, this does not mean the property will be equally divided between a brother and a sister after the death of the father. Since inheritance laws also confer property rights on other legal heirs of the deceased, the division of the property will be based on the share of each heir according to the applicable inheritance laws. A married daughter having an equal share in her father's property simply means that whatever share her brother claims, she will get the same share. Inheritance of an adopted child. An adopted child is also a Class 1 heir, which means he or she enjoys all the rights that a biological child is entitled to. However, if the father had converted to any other religion while the adopted child is practicing the older religion of the family, the adopted child cannot inherit the ancestral property. That's it from us for this episode. We shall be back again with a fresh episode of Keeping It Real by Housing.com with information and insights on the real estate industry. You can catch the episode on Housing.com, on the Housing.com app, on earshot.in, Spotify.com, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Ghana.com, and JioSaavn. Take care and stay safe.